55 million people. That's a number of foreigners currently holding US visas. Now imagine all of them being revetted. Students, tourists, workers, and H-1Bs. The US government just launched a sweeping review. Over 5 million Indians are included. What does this mean for you? The Trump administration has ordered continuous vetting of all non-immigrant visa holders. They're attempting to identify overstays, criminal records, national security risks, or supposed ties to terrorism. Already, more than 6,000 student visas have been revoked. And there are some stories that received media attention, such as a truck driver who got into an accident and had his visa suspended. The methods that they're using to undertake this are social media monitoring, and they're requesting, for example, people to disable their privacy settings at interviews. This could also include simply times when one goes for stamping. There are checks being done against law enforcement and immigration databases. This is a setup beyond normal vetting. It's ongoing surveillance. So, we are, of course, along with civil society organizations like the ACLU and others, very concerned about free speech issues and whether issues that relate to simply political speech are being interpreted as signs that a person is, being subject to extra vetting or even having their status revoked or being put into removal proceedings, as we've seen with some high-profile cases like Mahmoud Khalil, for instance. So students who already are seeing visa revocations, they are mostly linked to, overstays or supposed job issues. I mean, those are not the ones that get a lot of prominent media coverage. Those are mostly linked to participation in protests. But understand that the vast majority of revocations are actually for, situations that sometimes are just out of one's control, like, being involved in a really bad car accident or maybe, partying a little too hard for some people and they got caught up with, either open containers of alcohol or driving under the influence. So those things you got to be very, very careful of, no matter what kind of visa status you're on, including H-1B. Even domestic issues, right, where police are called in to deal with certain domestic issues. This has also led to revocations. So, for tourists and visitors, travel disruptions are possible, and you can expect greater delays at port of entries. I've experienced this myself, recently traveling abroad and coming back in. The amount of time it took to, just simply go through the, immigration at CBP was so long that we almost missed our connecting flight. So while, H-1Bs aren't being singled out specifically, they are within the net of cases that are being subject to this extra scrutiny. So, there will be additional compliance burdens, and you got to make sure that your digital footprint is, obviously cleaned up, because that is going to be something that that they're going to want to see whenever you go for a, interview. And, even old social media posts, controversial opinions, or, legal issues abroad could also trigger scrutiny. Employers are going to definitely be facing more RFEs on potential site visits or compliance checks. So, one with frequent travel might be flagged for extra review as well. Look, I think that, while the supposed reasoning is for national security and, preventing terrorism or protecting American jobs, we know that this kind of thing is also about control, and it infringes on privacy, on freedom of speech. It's disproportionately impacting Indian nationals who, make up a large percentage of the H-1B population. Muslims who are in America, people who are politically outspoken would also have, greater scrutiny. So we need to keep our immigration documents updated, and also make sure you're reviewing your digital footprint. Probably at this point, until there's greater clarity from the courts, you want to avoid controversial public postings, and probably travel with clearer evidence of employment and status. Employers who have H-1B employees, you need to ensure compliance with Department of Labor USCIS requirements and prepare contingency plans in case of sudden revocations. And guys, this isn't just a headline. It's live policy shifts that could impact your careers, your families, and your futures. So if you're on an H-1B or any US visa, you need to stay alert. And feel free to share your experiences or concerns with us in the comments, or schedule a time for us to speak about your specific and particular case. And like always, I remind people, particularly those in the highly skilled arena, to take matters into your own hands and do not keep yourself subject to these kinds of limited, temporary visas that in fact become permanent in a way, because many people have been on H-1Bs for decades, multitude of decades. So let's see what we could do to help you out. Feel free to reach out, and we'll be here to help.